YouTube. So this is just a quick little introductory video that I'm trying to do right now. It's a retake, I'll be honest. I tried to do this type of video a couple days ago. Today is Monday, and I tried to do this type of video this past Saturday, so 2 days ago. And once I really get talking about stuff, I tend to ramble. It's one of my many issues, I guess you could say. So that video on Saturday ended up being over an hour. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes, almost an hour and a half, basically. But I was saying, like, all throughout the video, it was pretty much probably just gonna be like, you know, practice for me. Because I'm very new to this whole YouTube thing. I've never done a video on YouTube before. I really don't know how it works. Just trying to... It's really hot today, so I want to shut the air conditioner off, but it's just so hot. I don't want my hair blowing around. But, well, this actually isn't my hair, it's a wig, in case you can't already tell. Anyway, basically a quick little intro about myself. I'm gonna try to find that balance between this video not being too short to where I have where I don't say enough, but also not being too long where it's like over an hour. I just got to work. Which for me is a strip club. I'm a stripper. I guess that's one of the first things I should probably say. Or maybe shouldn't say, but it's one of the big things about me and what I want to make my channel on YouTube about. So yeah, basically I'm in the sex industry, as they call it, and I really struggle with it. For somebody with my personality and my kind of issues and the things that I struggle with and my history and the things that I've been through in the past, it's a very strange situation that I've wound myself up in. I love dancing, but when I say that I love dancing, it's pretty much just the dancing aspect that I love, and like performing for the crowd. But when I say the crowd, I mean mostly strangers, mostly people that I've never seen or met before, so that there's no like emotional or psychological messed up history there. Like, I have a lot of issues with my family and, you know, people that I used to be like friends with in the past. Like, I just have I really struggle with interpersonal relationships. And I barely have any of those these days. It's mostly just like work acquaintances. But the work acquaintances that I have here at the club that I work at, I really enjoy and I'm really grateful for. It's just that, yeah, like with my history, I struggle to take those acquaintance types of relationships much further to where I actually like hang out with people outside of working. I'm pretty much a workaholic. So, and yeah, like when I see people at the club, like regulars, I guess you could say, I feel like I'm one of the few dancers that doesn't have any regulars, or not like real regulars. I do mostly earlier shifts these days, like day shifts. So I see a lot of like regulars that come into the club, but they never really seem to tip me, or they just give me weird vibes where I feel really uncomfortable. I'm sure a lot of that is like my own issues and my own like way that I'm interpreting things, but also a lot of it does come with the fact that I know that they've seen me dance on stage like many, many times, and they can probably see how hard I work up there. And like doing extra too. Like I'm on stage just to practice even when I don't need to be on stage. But I think maybe a part of that they don't like is that that's time that I could be using to like suck up to them and talk to them, or like try to talk to them, which I normally like don't like to do that much. Sometimes it depends on the person, obviously, but like with the regulars, especially if they never tip me when I'm on stage, like that's just gonna make me not want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's not like, you know, I don't expect to be tipped every time, but when I see somebody there at the club, like, or here, because I'm here right now, but when I see someone like multiple times and I know that they see me multiple times on stage, like, and they've like never tipped me, or they just, when I do try to talk to them, like if I've tried to talk to them in the past, they give me weird vibes sometimes, then that combination is just gonna make me not want to talk to them. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense, right? But anyways, yeah, I really struggle as a dancer, and I really struggle as somebody in the so-called sex industry, which I hate that term, but I guess it is what it is. I don't know, that's what they call it. I also am signed up on a webcamming site, which I also really struggle with. Like the degree to which I'm uncomfortable being in the sex industry, like at times it feels like I barely have an income, which I basically don't. And then it just puts me in a really weird situation, because it's like, obviously it's really difficult to get by in life not like barely having any income at all. And I don't have any family in the area. My family all just like moved away years and years ago, just left me here. And then when I was younger, my family like moved a lot unnecessarily, in my opinion. It wasn't like my dad was in the army or anything like that, or like it wasn't like we had to move. It was kind of just like, I think, a midlife crisis on like my parents' part, maybe, or mostly like my adoptive dad. It wasn't actually my biological dad that I grew up with. That's another story for another video, like my family stuff, I guess. But yeah, I just really struggle a lot with things, with just so many things in my life, or my existence, really. I call it an existence. It's really not even that much of a life, you know what I mean? It's like, all I do is work. And then barely having an income with all that work. It's like, between all the working and the very small amount of income I'm generating from it, it's like it doesn't leave me with hardly any time or energy to really do much else. But then it's like, you know, working at the strip club, we are open pretty late, so I could stay and do night shifts more often, or obviously I could try to hustle harder, you know, talk to more guys, go further than I do. Like, there's plenty of options, I guess, just not options that feel right for me, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, like I don't have health insurance. I haven't been to the doctor or a dentist or anything like that, and I can't even count how many years. I'm sure it's been well over a decade, like probably, I don't know if it's been 2 decades, but probably close. If I really thought about it, I could maybe try to add that in another video, like really stop and think to try to really determine. I know it's been a long time, probably at least 15 to 20 years, which is crazy to think about since I've seen a doctor or anything like that. So yeah, and then as far as like trying to get like free healthcare or some kind of assistance, like with assistance programs, I never really know how to approach that, because it's so much easier said than done, like so many things. And like trying to get through on the phone to an actual person these days is like that in itself is like an entire battle that just seems to like go on forever. And like even just to get through to a person most of the time on the phone, yet alone like all the steps after that, I feel like it's usually like being given like other numbers and like being rerouted to like other places you have to call and like automated things, you know, AI on the other end, etc., etc. But also like I don't know how to report my income because like I barely have an income anyways, and then there's always the argument where it's like, well, if you're not making much money, like, biatch, why don't you just stay at work longer and hustle harder? Why don't you talk to more guys? Why don't you work longer hours? But then with the health issues that I do have, it's like I barely have enough energy. Like I barely have it in me to do what I'm doing now. You know what I mean? And then they say like, work smarter, not harder. But I'm no genius. I feel like I'm overall a pretty stupid person anyway, so. And I'll just be honest, like, I don't want to really deal with guys. I'm very like, well, I would consider myself asexual at this point. It's not that I like hate men. Like they say, like when you've been stripping for a long time, that can happen, but I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that to that extent, you know what I mean? I'd rather not deal with them most of the time, but that can be said for most people in general. The only people I really ever actually like enjoy not dealing with, but like interacting with and being around is like my dancer acquaintances / I guess kind of friends, you could call it at this point. You know, like other dancers that I feel like I vibe with and can relate to and connect with and just really enjoy like their personalities and their talent, and they're all just like such amazing people. Like I feel like they're the most amazing people I've met that I can actually like really like vibe with and relate to so much more than anywhere else that I've ever been in life. Like I've never really had that or felt that anywhere else before, so that's such a big part of why I've stayed doing what I've been doing with the dancing. So I'd rather not deal with guys most of the time. Like I do it because I kind of have to, it's part of my job, but like I'm sex repulsed, I'm asexual, I feel like at this point, and for a while I felt that way. Like I just don't want to when it comes to hustling harder or like, you know, whatever you want to call it. Like I hate the fact that I have to suck up to guys to try to make a buck in the first place, you know what I mean? And yeah, so much to the point where it's like I'd rather just, it's not that I'd rather, but it becomes a situation where I'm barely making an income because I just don't want to deal with how much I hate having to suck up to these crazy mofos, you know? I mean, I can meet guys that I really actually do enjoy here. It does happen, thank gosh. But 9 times out of 10, pretty much 10 times out of 10 actually, they're people I've never met before. You know what I mean? They're people that it's like a first time that I've met them. They're traveling, they're not from the area. They're definitely not regulars, basically. I'm not the kind of dancer that gets regulars, has regulars, or even probably wants regulars at this point. A part of me does, but it's just the psychological mind, just how much it messes with like someone like me, like the way that my mind works, and psychologically, emotionally, it's just too much for me to deal with. Like I've never done well with interpersonal relationships, and that includes my family, you know. So, you know, anyway. And yeah, like I just feel like when somebody knows they have like an advantage over you, like financially, that's just never good. That just doesn't feel good to me. I just can't stand that. It's such a terrible feeling to me. I've had that in the past with like family and relationships, and that's another big part of why I've stayed single and as independent as I can be for so long. Like, I mean, that and my family basically abandoned me where I am. Like they all just moved away. My mom moved without telling me. My younger brother, half brother technically, but back in like 2014, I paid for him to come live at the apartment that I was staying at because it was the kind of building that had like multiple rooms. So when a room opened up in the unit that I was in, he was, you know, obviously living in the same area at that time. So I paid for him to come move in, and he was only there for like a few months. Then he hooked up with my roommates and they both moved like across the country, basically, like very short notice. And part of the deal with me paying for his rent at that time was that back then he had a car and I didn't. So part of our deal was that he was supposed to help drive me to and from work, in exchange for how I was like paying for his rent, basically. But that, I don't think he ever really did that. Like, I can't remember him doing that one time, honestly. But I guess to be fair, like, or to try to be fair, he had just turned 21 at that time, and like, he did get a job at least to, like, you know, have some kind of income for himself, and so that I didn't have to cover like all of his expenses, thank gosh. But anyways, like, yeah, I've just been in a really weird situation for a really long time. I don't know how to get healthcare or any kind of assistance because I don't know how to report my income, because I feel like they could just be like, oh, well, just work more, just get a sugar daddy, or like try to, like, you know, expand your boundaries with men, be willing to do more, be willing, you know what I mean, which I just don't want to do. So yeah, I just I've been wanting to try to improve my life in some other way, by some other means, for so long. And on the webcamming site that I'm on, where I live, it's winter like 8 months out of the year. Summer's like 2 months, July and August, pretty much. And then the rest of the year is pretty much just freezing cold, like just awful. I can't even put into words how awful winter is where I am. And I haven't had heat the past 3 winters. The past 3 years, 3 winters, I have not had heat in my apartment, which is a whole other story for a whole other video, probably. You know, like, I've always struggled with my weight, and then I've used the dancing as, like, you know, a means for exercise, which can be very distracting, like, financially. Like, a lot of times my focus is just trying to burn calories when I'm at work, or like get in some exercise, you know. My weight goes up and down. I always want to lose weight. But then, yeah, like, with it being so cold where I am most of the year, that is really difficult. I mean, it's difficult anyways, but that makes it so much more difficult. So, like, this summer, you know, I just dropped like another 15 pounds, and I've done this, well, I'm gaining some back now. Not that I want to, but like, I'm basically a food addict. Like, I've always loved food. I don't really have any other vices or sources of pleasure in my life. I'm 3 months of not smoking weed now. So that was like the only vice that I really had besides, I guess, food, which you obviously need anyways. But so I stopped smoking weed this past May. So it's been May, June, July. Now it's August. So I've gone 3 months without smoking weed. And I was smoking every single day, pretty much all day long, for like 20 years before that. So that's been a huge thing for me. It's not like I'm never gonna smoke again. I just want to see how long I can go, and just prove to myself that I can do it. I don't like having vices, but obviously it's really difficult not having vices. And yeah, I'm just like a workaholic now. I don't really have any sources of pleasure or, like, you know, enjoyment in my life besides dancing on stage. But that's another thing too, like, when the argument could be made, just work more if you want more money or if you want to improve your life. Like, I'm taking such a physical risk already. I barely have the energy, especially so often trying to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, which I just inevitably end up gaining back for winter. Not that I want to or try to, it just happens. Like, it's like a biological thing that I like don't know how to stop myself from giving into. And yeah, especially not having heat in my place the past 3 years, that's made it all the more difficult. But where was I going a minute ago? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, the physical risk with the dancing. The club that I'm at, the pole is like 15 feet. It's a big pole, and I'm in a small town. It's not like it's a big city or a big club. So luckily we don't have to climb the pole or do pole work. Like, we don't have to, it's not a requirement, but it's kind of like they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. And for me to have the ability to climb the pole and go upside down and do pole tricks, especially with my history with like struggles with weight and like exercise and all of that, I'm just really proud of myself for being able to do it. But it's such a risk, and it's technically an unnecessary risk that I don't have to be taking. But it's such good exercise, and I just don't want to lose that ability. Like, even if I don't do it for like, you know, a few days at a time, the muscle memory will fade, and it's so much harder to do. It's something that I really have to be consistent with to, like, especially at my age, you know, to try to maintain my ability to do it. But it's so draining, and it's so scary, and the pole is so slippery. Like, it's in our contracts here, we're not supposed to wear lotion, but obviously people don't always follow the rules. And one way or another, that pole gets so slippery. It's so freaking dangerous. And it's basically 15 feet tall. So climbing to the top is really scary, but I feel like I kind of need that rush. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like addicted to it. I don't know. My whole existence is just very, very overwhelming and wild and bizarre to me, and I struggle so much. And for the longest time, I've kind of, the only like things in my mind where I was like, maybe I could improve my life this way or this way, the only things that really came to my mind as possibilities was YouTube and the webcamming. And then with the webcamming, I started trying, I hadn't done it for years. Like, I feel like it was basically just, I was signed up on the website for so long. Like, I've technically been a member on the website and had an account on there for like over a decade. But I haven't actually ever really gotten the hang of it or done it. I just started trying it again this past May after, you know, like quitting the weed. They kind of like went hand in hand for me, because I thought that, you know, not being super high doing that would hopefully help, and it really didn't that much. So yeah, the webcamming so far has not really worked out for me. And then as far as like wanting to try it, like not having heat in my place for the past 3 years, when it's cold most of the year, I'll be like 17 layers deep in clothing. So obviously I don't feel sexy like that to try to stream online. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just bundled up. And it's really funny because when I go outside, I don't even wear a jacket. I wear like this like thin little zip up like gym kind of thing, to try to like improve my tolerance to the cold, I guess. But so like I'm like 17 layers deep in clothing when I'm in my place, and then when I go outside, I'm just wearing like thin leggings and like a thin little like sheer jersey zip up like gym outfit. It's ridiculous. But for whatever reason, I just feel better. Because I mean, at least I've had heat in my car, I guess, is probably why. And then I'll usually, before I go to work, try to go to the gym to warm myself up that way. When I'm at the club dancing, I can warm myself up pretty well. And then at my place, it's just so cold. So it's freezing. It gets to like 50 degrees. Well, the first 2 years, it was getting down to like 60. I'm on a higher floor, so I think the people underneath me having heat, they say heat rises, so I think that was helping. But I'm assuming because this past year it got down to 50. It was like a 10-degree difference. It's like 10 degrees colder in there. So I'm guessing that maybe the people underneath me had like turned their heat down. It was like maybe somebody new living there. I don't really know, but yeah, it was just way too cold for me to think or do anything really, yet alone try to webcam. So I hadn't done the webcamming for like so long until this past May. And I feel like me being signed up on the website all those years, but not actually like using it, it was basically just like messing with my laptop. You know what I mean? Hurting rather than helping, it seemed like. Like, just, I don't know. Yeah, so when I tried it again this May, I honestly didn't really like it that much, like same as before. Before, when I tried it, I really didn't make money, and this past May I made like at least a little something, but not, I know you have to have patience with that kind of thing and build a following, and I just, so much of my time and energy is with my dancing, like all year round, you know, and just like trying to get to the gym and burn calories like as often as I can like get myself to do that. Like, it's so hard for me to find the energy and the motivation to do that as much as I want to, but ideally, like, I want to do that as often as I can get myself to do it. Like, my main goal every single day is just like work out as much as you can. And I've also been trying to write a book the past like decade or longer, but unfortunately that takes the back burner a lot. Like, it's so hard for me to do anything productive in my apartment when it's so cold most of the year, you know, and then I have all these distractions. I can hear my neighbors through the walls, like the walls are so thin, it just freaks me out. I have a lot of like sensory issues. I feel like I have a lot of undiagnosed things, like possibly autism, and ADHD, among like a whole laundry list of other things. But again, I don't have health insurance, so I don't really know how to go get diagnosed with whatever it is that I would have or might have, or whatever somebody professional would think that I have. Me, myself, personally, I think that I have like so many things, like at least 9 or 10 different issues, but they say that a lot of those can't be co-diagnosed, or like you can't have certain ones together at the same time. Most professional people want to diagnose people with either one or the other when it comes to a lot of stuff, but then other conditions, they can coexist. So I really don't know, but I do wonder this all the time. I'm like, what would they actually like think that I have? Because I think I have practically everything, just about. And yeah, so I've just been really struggling for a while, and no family in the area, no one that I can really like call or turn to or rely on. I feel like I can't rely on anything in the world, like not a single thing that I can really think of that comes to mind. Like, my phone doesn't stay charged. I have a 15-pound backpack. I actually climb the pole with it sometimes, which is crazy. But like, I have to keep my phone charger with me at all times because my phone doesn't stay charged. I keep like a flashlight on me at all times. I keep like everything I can think of, you know. And then I always think like, oh, the one thing that you are gonna need that you didn't think of, that's what you're not gonna have when you need it, you know what I mean? But I just feel very like unsafe and insecure in like all areas and aspects of my life. I've had stuff go missing from my car. I've had stuff go missing from my apartment, to the point where like sometimes you try to convince yourself, oh, that's just me misplacing things, or that's just me like forgetting something, or that's just my fault for doing this or that, just being too spacey, like being in a calorie deficit. But then there's times where I just know that that wasn't the case, like something's just straight up gone missing. So that really adds to my feeling of like there's nowhere I can feel safe, not my car, not my apartment, not anywhere. It's really, I don't really sleep at night. So it's gotten to the point where I feel like I have insomnia. So I don't sleep at night, but I try to usually work during the day. So do the math there, that doesn't work out very well. And Oh my gosh. And then, so yeah, like for me trying to improve my life, I've been thinking, well, there's the webcamming and maybe YouTube. The webcamming, really have not enjoyed it much at all so far. And it's just so hard for me to do anything from my apartment. And like I've been thinking, you know, this year, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it in the winter, especially, which is like 8-9 months of the year here. You know, just like wearing all these layers and being so cold and just wanting to like have like as much bundled around me as possible when I'm in my apartment. So I'm like, if I'm gonna try again with the webcamming, I have like a few months to do it, like May, June, July pretty much. And I tried a couple times in May, really did not like it very much at all. So now it's August and I just, you know, the dancing, like coming to the club and like going to the gym and trying to get a good workout most days that I can stand to do it, that usually seems to take priority. Whether or not I want it to, it just does. So the webcamming and me trying to write a book, it's been taking a back burner. But then with me in my car taking a video now like this, it seems like I feel more comfortable trying to take a video in my car basically, or like, so I'm like, well, maybe I could try YouTube. It's been in the back of my mind for a while. I tend to overthink things. I don't know anything about computers. I'm one of the most technology illiterate people probably on the planet. Like, I don't know how to do anything online. I'd be amazed if I was even able to figure out how to upload a video onto YouTube, onto here or YouTube, or, you know, like, I know that's gonna be an issue too. But hopefully I can try it. Hopefully this video I'll feel a little bit better about than the first one that I tried on Saturday. So hopefully I can actually take the next step to try to upload this one, you know, but I probably should get going for now because right now this video is just over half an hour, which is definitely better than Saturday's. And also the club that I work at here, we pay to work here because we're contractors. So the way it's basically like a sliding, I don't know if a sliding scale is the term, but basically the earlier you get here, the less you have to pay. And the later you go in, the more it is. So 4 o'clock is the cutoff to where the price increases, and it's almost 4 o'clock now. So I should probably get going anyways. But yeah, I really hope that, you know, this doesn't turn out to be just another practice video. I hope I can actually upload this one. If not, I'll just keep trying, I guess, you know, and yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable trying to make videos in my car versus my apartment. And another big thing that was holding me back from doing that for so long is I wasn't able to figure out how to get the little contraption to hold my phone up, like secured onto my car. And just this past Saturday is when I was able to do that. I just basically said F it and got a bunch of duct tape and tried to make that work. And it took a while. It took me over an hour, but it seems so far like it's holding up and working. So hopefully it continues to hold up. It's obviously it's been really hot. So if it can hold up in the heat, you know, I'm hoping that means that it will be pretty good and stay secure for a while to be able to keep taking videos. So yeah, I'm gonna get going for now, try to wrap this up for now, and hopefully I can figure out how to upload this pretty soon, or, you know, not feel the need to redo it and take another one over and over again to, like, you know, obviously, like, I know most things are never going to be to my satisfaction, like completely, especially, but hopefully I'll be okay enough with this one to just upload it and get the ball rolling in some way, you know, to like just finally get it over with and post a video on YouTube and just say that I did it. So after that, I can maybe try to make other videos that are more focused on individual topics, or like, you know, like certain topics kind of more condensed into different videos, as opposed to just generalized complaining about my myriad of seemingly endless problems. And yeah, like I know a lot of people watch videos on YouTube to try to like feel better, like distract themselves, like they want positive, happy content. Just a disclaimer, like I would love to be able to talk about happy, funny things, but one subject that I know that I would never run out of things to say about, and that I'd always have content to keep talking about, is my problems. So that's probably what most of my videos are going to be about. That's just how it is for me. That's just like being realistic, or trying to be realistic about it. Like, hopefully I can think of other things to talk about too in the future, but I think most of my channel is probably just going to be me complaining about my problems. And I know how ridiculous that is and how pathetic that is, like, obviously, but oh well, like that's one thing that I know that I could never run out of things to say about. Like, I could just keep talking about that until the day that I die, basically. Until the day that I stop existing in this crazy way. So yeah, I'm gonna get going right now, but if anybody ever gets to watch this, wow. I don't know how to feel about that, but I can say that about a lot of stuff. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to upload this, or, you know, do something with it at some point. Stay tuned, possibly. Bye for now.